Hi, my name is Christopher McDonald, and I'm the SGA president of the University of the Virgin Islands. And here today we have our special guest, Miss UVI, Sherkquan Henry, who will be talking to us today about her journey as Miss UVI. So, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Can you just give us an example or explain your journey of how the transition for Miss UVI was for you?
Yeah, so it has honestly been one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. It took a lot of self assurance and confidence in myself, just knowing that I am good enough. I think that when we think pageant, we just think crowns and parades and floats, but what we don't tend to think about is that you represent the voice of an entire school. And though UVI is small, I struggled at first to make sure that what I was saying adequately represented those within the university. But overall, it's helped me to gain confidence. It's built a love for my HBCU that I've never had before, and I am truly grateful for the opportunity.
Wow. In reference to being the voice, what was that like to be the voice of the University of the Virgin Islands?
Okay, so picture being on America's Got Talent, hundreds of thousands of people watching you, and you're like, wait, can I really sing this song the way I should sing it? So by no means does St. Thomas or St. Croix or St. John have that type of crowd, but there was still a lot of pressure, just to say the right things, to look the right way. And I found that when you spoke from the heart, or when I spoke from the heart, and when I just stayed informed, when I voiced my own opinion and not the opinion of others, I was being true to myself and the truest that I could possibly be to my university.
Wow. In reference to being true to yourself, I know you had to run with a platform, and what was your platform, and could you just give a little background information on how that was created and that you were able to share with the audience?
So, as a child, I struggled with my self identity, who I was, where I came from, where my parents came from. Probably the way they cooked was different than everyone else. And it really drove me to a dark place. I was bullied a lot, but I realized a lot of what I went through was mental and started within myself. And as I grew older, I discovered that as I learned more about myself and as I learned more about my family and my culture, I began to appreciate myself a lot more. My grandmother doesn't know how to read, she doesn't know how to write to this day, but she farmed and she did what she had to do to make sure that my mom could go to school. My mom is an immigrant. She did not have the proper documentation, but that pushed me to be so great in school. It pushed me to every seek out every single opportunity that I possibly could, and why should I ever be ashamed of that? So I feel that by teaching girls, teaching people in general that where you come from is okay. Your struggle is okay. Your music, your food, the way you dress, even though it may not be what everyone else around you looks like, it's okay and it's fantastic because the stories you have to tell, the things you've been through, the things that the people who have come before you have been through is really what helps you to create your best you.
Wow. And obviously, I could see how confident and intellectual you are when it comes to all the stuff that you've been through. But when it comes to your journey as a child, um, did you always know that this is what you wanted to do? Like, did you see yourself being in a pageant? Did you see yourself being the voice? Did you see yourself being taking on the opportunities that you currently take on now?
Definitely not. So, funny story. Before I started this competition, I didn't even know how to properly walk in heels. Wow. So that was kind of awkward. But as I grew older, I realized that I had a lot to say, and I had a lot to say that I don't think enough people were saying at the time. So I actually ran for my first pageant in middle school. I did not enjoy it. I was bullied constantly. People told me things like, you don't have enough money. Why are you running for this? Your things aren't nice enough. If you can't afford props, why even be on the stage? And I allowed the views of other people to impact the way that I performed and the way that I felt about myself going into that competition. Coming into Miss UVI, I did it because I wanted to know people that this is not a pageant, but an ambassadorial competition. So it's about what you have to say. What can you bring to the conversation and how many people you can inspire? So we like to think, as I said before, of a queen with the floats and, the septum, the crown, but we don't ever think of the strong voice that will inspire many, many girls to come. It's not just she's pretty or her makeup and her clothes are really nice. It's, wow, she said something that makes me feel like I could be somebody, like I could be her one day.
Speaking of that and your transition, I know you stated that you were bullied. How were you able to overcome that, especially being in middle school, dealing with just, I know when I was in middle school, I was enjoying time with friends or trying to balance like schoolwork as well as extracurricular activities. But how were you able to cope with the bullying during your middle school years?
I didn't. It was fairly hard. I cried a lot, but as I left middle school, as I got more into high school, I found that you do a whole lot better finding people who love and care about you and sticking to that. And then also uplifting the people who go through the same things that you do. So I found that in high school, I was bullied for being too dark. I was bullied because I had to walk to school. I was bullied because my mom worked as a housekeeper. And instead of being proud of that and saying that I'm here and I'm going to do well regardless, I tended to gravitate towards people who didn't have the same struggles as me, towards people who are more socially acceptable, because I felt that by being with people who are more socially acceptable, I became more socially acceptable myself. What I had to learn leaving high school is that there was nothing wrong with me. So if society wasn't willing to accept me, then society didn't deserve me. And I learned that it was more important to seek out that person who may be having a hard time, form friendships, uplift each other, make, everyone feel good versus just trying to eliminate what you feel is wrong with you.
I agree. Wow. And in reference to uplifting, who would you say is someone that you look up to as your role model during your whole transition in from elementary school all the way up to where you are now? Who was that one person who really supported Sherkquan, who really dedicated to Sherkquan, and who really invested in all the good things that you bring to the table now?
I would definitely say my mother. She's so strong-willed. Doesn't matter what anyone has to say about her. She's just like, well, I know myself, and I'm proud of what I've become. She's actually graduating with me this May. But I have seen my mother pick us up from nothing and build us up. And she'd always let us know struggle it does not have a skin color. It does not have a particular person, but it's what you're willing to make out of it. So she always let me know the importance of never being a victim and always striving to do my best. And sometimes looking back at it, I'm not even sure how she made so many things possible for me, but my mom made sure that I had what I need to seize every single opportunity that I ever wanted to pursue.
That's amazing. In reference to the opportunities here as Miss UVI at the University of the Virgin Islands, can you just explain to the could you explain to us in reference to what are the things that you had to do? Did you have to go away for various events? Did you have to represent UVI here? How was that like, and can you just list a couple of events that were definitely meaningful that impacted you during this transition?
So as Miss UVI, I travel a lot between St.Thomas and St. Croix. I do a lot of events in terms of new student convocation. I may do a simple convocation. My presence may be requested at an award ceremony. And honestly, it's the best part of it all is being able to tell students, like, I'm proud. And I like to get what they want to say. So I like to ask students, like, what message would you like to hear today? And I like to feed off of the crowd. By far, the best experience I've had as Miss UVI is getting to travel to the NBCA competition. So, funny story, I started practicing 2 weeks before, and I was so scared, and I thought I was going to lose. But I made top 10, so I was very proud of that.
Wow,
but
congrats.
It's the definition of black excellence in a room. And not simply just, for example, you went to a black caucus congressional meeting. Not many people get to say that they do that. But that wasn't even all of the black excellence for me. It's just seeing people that looked like me, who were so sure of who they were despite their struggles, despite everything they had been through. I got to hear stories of people that sounded a lot like mine.
Wow.
But at the same time, you know, you're Miss Howard University, you're Miss Fisk University. And it was truly inspiring, even down to the winner. I tell people every day, I would have loved to win, but I don't think we would have had a better winner than Tangela. As a young African American woman, seeing someone win a competition that would allow her to represent all HBCUs in the United States with her braids and her hoop earrings, she's just so unapologetically herself. It really inspired me all over again to just be myself.
Wow. And I just want to commend you on making it to top 10 out of all of the HBCUs in the States or everywhere. I also want to commend you that not only with winning pageants, but giving the other person the acknowledgments that they deserve this. And even though you were in the same pageant, was just a beautiful trait to have. Uplifting one another is something that we definitely look forward to, and we need to do it more, especially since we're all undergrads. We're all just trying to make it and do the incredible things and take on the opportunities that life presents to us. In reference to that competition, what was one takeaway that once you left, you could be like, wow, or gave you the wow factor?
I think it's just the determination of everyone in the room and also the selflessness. So it wasn't really ever about, this is about me, this is about me, this is about me. I remember there was one day we went to a restaurant and my shoes were a little too big. So every few steps it would, pop off. So like we're all walking and everyone is probably like, all the way up here. And I'm all the way back there, and I'm like, wow, this is so embarrassing, and I'm calling my advisors, like, hey, can you guys bring me some shoes? But I don't want to stop and be left behind. I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. And two young ladies come up, and they link with me in my arm, and they're like, we're all making it to this restaurant. And we all had, like, this very slow procession to the restaurant, but we made it. No one made fun of me. No one made me feel like, wow, she looks crazy walking down the street. She's a whole miss of a university and she can't even walk in heels. Like, it was just such a good energy that it taught me that despite what we like to believe, there's so much female empowerment and female support within our Black community that we don't often tap into. And that's one thing I like to spread and share. It's very easy to look at someone and criticize the things that you think are wrong. But it's very hard sometimes to not think of yourself first, but how that person may feel and the overall success of everyone. So my mom said something recently that really touched me. She said, our goals may be intertwined, but our success is mutually exclusive. So the two of us may apply for the same job, and if I get it, you may not get it. But it doesn't stop the fact that the both of us can be successful. And I think that if we start to go through life with that type of mentality, our goals may be intertwined, but we want success for everyone, and we can really start to see a positive change.
Definitely. And that's important because success is not only just making it, but it's the individuals who assist you, the individuals who support you, and the team behind it to get you to that next level. In reference to just being surrounded by other HBCU queens, what was that feeling like to be next to Miss Howard or next to Miss Spellman? What was that experience?
So oddly, as excited as I was to be around them, they were excited to be around me. It's kind of like, oh my gosh, Miss Howard University, but then she turns around and she's just like, well, I mean, your school is on a beach. What do you mean? you know? So it was kind of surreal at first, but I've actually formed the bonds with a lot of the girls. We still check up on each other. We still call each other from time to time. I've noticed that we're starting to get really involved in each other's dreams and goals. So if someone wants to start a podcast, rather than, just cheering from the sidelines, like, hey, that's a good idea. You see queens offering to, can I speak on your podcast? Or do you have a t-shirt brand? What can I do to help you build your t-shirt brand? So it's just been an amazing experience in terms of the HBCU community view.
That's great. In reference to other events that you were able to participate in, is there any additional, is there any additional programs that you are involved with here at the University of the Virgin Islands?
Yeah, way too much. So I like to put it in an order, okay? So I'm a student first.
Right.
And then I'm Miss University of the Virgin Islands second. And then a very close third is a Thurgood Marshall College Fund Student Ambassador of UVI St.Thomas campus. So I would like to toot my own horn a little bit. I can say I've been fairly successful at this university, but it's been because of programs like TMCF that have helped me to go to internships, go to conferences, and have meaningful networking and connections. So that is my baby. I love matching people with potential job offers, potential conferences, informing them of, hey, I think this would be a great fit for you. So I like to tell my mom, it's not even more so for me, but to see, for example, there's one student here who's always said, my dream job is to work at KPMG. And I told her, well, apply for the Leadership Institute. And she said, I don't think I'm going to get in. So many applications, so many people. And she got in. And she didn't get an interview with KPMG. And I said, just speak to them. Just hand them your resume. Make them remember you. Just gave her a little motivation. And she did that. And it makes me so proud to say that she will be interning at KPMG this upcoming summer. I just feel like so many people help me to accomplish my dreams. Every person that I can help to accomplish their dream as well is something that I was able to give back to the world and some way to build my community. So that's my close second. Right after that, I have the Student Government Association Senior Center. Just stressful, but it has taught me to be strong. And it has taught me to be very student first and student oriented. You think that you're all about people a lot of the time, but when you have to consider different religions, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, and you have to think of all of these things when planning one event, it really helps you to develop a student first perspective. So I've really enjoyed being in the Student Government Association, and I've done that for 3 years. And then there's just other minor things too. So right now, I am part of a team with you, teaching flood mitigation to students in high school. It's pretty interesting just to see that we live on an island, but not many people know this area is prone to flooding or how much flooding can occur in this area. And then I also just go out on different college tours and speaking to different schools on why UVI, because I honestly do believe that though we don't always believe it, UVI is the best place to be.
I agree, and I commend you because not only have UVI invested in you, but you're giving back to UVI by going out and recruiting individuals, telling individuals about the different academic programs that UVI has to offer, the different opportunities, the different internships.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing how UVI has really transformed students' lives. And I always tell individuals, you know, you have to make the most of the opportunities that come your way. And with that being said, how was UVI able to, or I would say, what opportunity will you give an upcoming student who's considering like to come into UVI, the experience that you witnessed throughout your years?
Okay, so to any student who's considering UVI, or even for those students who aren't considering UVI, I honestly feel like it should be one of your top choices, if not your top choice. So full disclosure, I didn't want to come to UVI. I cried. My mother made me sign the paper. But since being in UVI, I have become a business owner. Through the 13D competition, I was granted $18,500 to start my own business. I have become Miss University of the Virgin Islands, which has greatly helped to improve my confidence and helped me to make people feel a way that I wish I felt about myself my entire life. In addition to that, there's just so many great internship opportunities, conference opportunities. I remember I told someone, I'm not working for less than this amount. And they told me, but you go to UVI, you know, and you have a Bachelor of Arts. I think you're being delusional. I will be making more than that amount. Because of UVI, I have been able to secure internships with places like JP Morgan Chase, Kellogg's, Walmart, the FDIC, and I know students who are doing so much more. So I just urge you to do some research, reach out, ask questions. This can be your home away from home where you grow academically, you grow culturally, and you grow personally as an individual.
Wow. With that being said, what for the upcoming Miss UVI contestants who are going to be in your position and representing this UVI and being the voice of the University of the Virgin Islands, what advice would you give them?
So 3 things: be cognizant, be bold, and most importantly, be you. Don't wear that crown just because you think you look pretty, but wear it with the regard that you represent a lot of people, you represent a lot of cultures, you represent a lot of beliefs. You want to make sure that every time you speak, you're giving something to the world, that you're not just saying something just because. Be bold. So don't think, when I first started, I used to think that I wasn't good enough, that my style wasn't good enough. But as I move along, I'm starting to realize that I'm everything that I need to be.
Yep.
And that is truly amazing. So just be bold. And the final one is be you. So the best way that you can represent a group of people is by first being able to adequately represent yourself. So if what you feel about yourself, your beliefs and your views are constantly changing because you don't know who you are, it's hard to truly catch, the whole body of who everyone is or who this university is or can be. So just be bold, be cognizant, and be you.
Wow. And those 3 advice, I definitely agree with you. Miss UVI is definitely a big task. A lot of individuals are looking forward to who the next UVI is going to be. And right now, with everything that's happening, I personally want to just thank you for being one of the greatest UVI, one of the best Miss UVIs that we had so far. And the advice and your journey and your experience, what you have done to this university has definitely been a great asset. To end on a note, I just wanted to ask you, is there any quotes that you live up to or any images that you always picture when you wake up and say, like, be bold, be you, something that really hits you differently?
So, this sounds so sappy, but honestly, my mom. So, she didn't get to accomplish everything that she wanted to in life, but she also never stopped going. She's one of the most selfless people I know. She's one of the most self confident people that I know. And there are a lot of figures that I could choose from when I think of someone that I could look up to. But her resilience is, in my opinion, unmatched. And if I can always have the power to just keep going, just keep doing what is right, like she has, or even half of it, I know that I'm going to do pretty amazing in this world.
And I can tell that you're already doing amazing things.
Thank you.
And I just want to commend you once again on all the accomplishments that you have done, and also all of the opportunities that you really invested while here at UVI, because as a student, we balance a lot.
Yeah.
And being involved in so many programs while still being able to smile and show up and be educated and make Dean's List ceremony, it's something that's a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
So on a final note, is there any final words that you would like to say?
Yeah, so honestly, this university, the people that I have interacted with, and just my experience overall has been one of the best times of my life. So I just urge people to, really look into the school, really look into the opportunities. And it gets hard. I'll never lie about that, but it's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, we have Miss Sherkquan Henry, and who is our Miss UVI 2019-2020.